Hi YouTube. I hope you're doing good. I'm doing okay, not too bad. I found out that about Tonga being liberated, becoming independent from the British in 1970. So that was kind of interesting. And then I think I read real briefly that they were occupied um, like 1829 or something. I didn't read on. I didn't see if that's when Spain first, because they were had control over the Tongas for a short time, and then Britain did probably during. I would say probably during the First or Second World War for sure, but I've done enough investigating on that. I'm pretty convinced that that volcano had something to do with kinetics, and maybe not. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to give uh, my enemies too much credit where it isn't deserved. And speaking of that, that's the topic of my video today. I'll tell you what led me to speaking on this again. Among those, please look into the Noahide laws. If you are not familiar with being labeled a Goyim, or like Lord of the Rings, Gollum, that's you are less than human. Um, and Gollum, the word, um, is derived from greed. So we know who the Gollum is and the Goyim truly are. But I'm not going to leave it at that. This whole video is going to be nothing but that. Okay, just a minute. First off, I'm going to share, I think it's called A Time for a Judgment, or A Time for Judgment, his channel. You'll probably recognize his voice. He's been up to like a 500,000 subs on one channel, and they'll knock him down. And he's actually helped take down pedophile rings and that type of thing. So, yeah, if you would go check out his work or subscribe. Do you know who A Call for a Uprising is? Um, anyway, just wondered. But I was watching JP, Awaken with JP yesterday. Okay, just a minute. He had uh something with Biden in it, and or one of the White House officials. I guess I cannot say for sure. It fried me out. Because I've seen it before. Two things: if it's our flag has gold around it, that's indicating wartime. Trump had that. He did that for various reasons, so it said, and I'm not going to go into that right now. But on this one clip, I saw, I think it was at least one, but maybe two American flags sandwiched in the middle of two Israel flags, being the Star of David, which is not the Star of David, because it's literally a six pointed two pentagrams that is satanic. And a lot of people know that there's enough proof out there that we don't have to guess who is trying to wreck our economy, our life, our faith, our hope, everything in the whole world. That began frying me out last night into more investigations and more truth bombs out here for these people. And so I was watching Israel News Live. That really piqued my interest. I'll tell you about it in a second. Talking about Well, okay, first off, if uh, oh, just a minute. If I word it wrong, the meaning will be lost to help people. So I'll chill for a second here. Sons of bitches. Fucking satanic bastards. Okay, anyway, just a minute, please. You'll understand. Give me a moment. If the Noahide laws weren't enough, people following rabbis and speaking Hebrew to Christians, claiming that it's the same thing, is ridiculous. the even the wording, like okay, here's the for instance. If you think Sodom is just a place on the map and not an actual perversion, an incident that happened, why the angels were kicked out of heaven, then you really do not know your scriptures, and you don't know the first language that was spoken was an Assyrian language, not Hebrew. And the meaning is absolutely different. So I'll just put it on this level for those of you that want your afterlife to be filled with, shall I say, um, cheery rear accepting dudes. You know, if that's heaven to you, perhaps you have another heaven I don't know about. And maybe my heaven is different than your heaven, or my ideal of heaven isn't the same as yours. And there is no argument there. I don't have an argument on that. If you have a heaven that is in your foreseeance, who am I to say you're wrong? But I'm sure you don't see me there. Pervert's a pervert, and you can't change the wording to make it acceptable. So, whatever. This isn't hatred. This is the facts of life. Satan's already here. That was another thing that was said. Well, they're gonna, they live in the middle of the earth and they're gonna come up. No, dipwad, they're already here. Can't you tell? Damn. And another thing, that was said that, like they're waiting for, Satan to come up. Like, nobody noticed that things have never been peaceful on this planet. You don't think he's already here? That spirit is not already here in men, huh? There's many antichrists, and I'm addressing them. The fairy tale of Jerusalem. There's not going to be old Jerusalem uh, accepting any kind of messianic character as a Christian figure. That's Judaism. That's Jewish beliefs, not Christianity. But in the scriptures, when they're read right, and if you recall, and even in the Hebrew language, is spoken of a new Jerusalem, not the old one. Heaven coming down on earth is the new Jerusalem. And that's in the children of God. They are not Jewish. They're not even of the lost tribes. They're not even the tribes that were kicked out. They're all brand new. Because the Spirit's working in them. And they could be anybody. But it's pretty disturbing when these people that are in tandem, working in tandem with communism and control over the whole world, like NATO, UN, whoever, whatever, World Economic Forum, whoever. They're all working together with our governments, people that aren't even elected by us, are dictating what we're going to be doing in our lives. Is that right? So you're going to tell me that I have to follow your perverted Noahide laws, and you're going to tell me that I'm going to make um, pedophilia and sodomy or anything of the like acceptable in God's creation? As a mother and a grandmother, you're telling me that I am supposed to tell future generations that actual creation of human beings um, is a perversion of any kind, or any perversion is going to create. That's the topic of my video. Or the Jerusalem fairy tale. What people in another country are trying to tell, mainly, no offense to my European friends, or even if you are in the state of Israel, God bless you. You're if you're listening to me, you're probably in danger, or you've probably been tortured your whole life because you've been different anyway. So, contrary to popular belief, not everybody wants to be a Jewish slave. Some of us, our heritage reaches into all of that. My bloodline literally connects to everybody. I was watching like Robin's Hood for instance. He's been showing a lot of the landmark of Mount Rushmore, which I would like to see just dynamited. Um, every single one of them people up there are one of my ancestors, including Crazy Horse from the Sioux. That's down below, and that's disturbing in itself on stolen land. So, yeah, I'd like to see the whole thing. I'd like to see it when the park is closed in the winter. I do believe the observatory is closed in the winter. I've been there twice, once when I was 9, and then drove up to it again in probably 1980 or something like that. So it's been a while, but I think there's like an observatory you can walk out over on the other side of Lincoln's Head and look out on, you can kind of see the whole thing up there. And then of course there's like a restaurant and bathrooms and outlook from the bottom up too. But like I said, it's been a while since I've been there, so even things could have changed since then. I don't know. But yeah, you go up elevator to get up to an observatory, and then the door that comes out of the side of the mountain, the work area for the people. That was how it was initially carved in there, if I'm not mistaken, and that's how they got out there to sculpt the heads on there. So I'd have to read into it more. Like I said, it's been a while since I've been there. I think about just everything I said is probably pretty accurate. So, but yeah, I'd like to see it destroyed. It's a insult to injury on the people. So, led by people that literally use you and your children. So, and that goes for every government. I'm not just picking on mine, and people can put me down, do whatever you want, but it isn't only their intentions, it's what they've been doing. It's not that Satan's going to come, it's that his time is getting short of his control and his reign, and these people do not want that. They don't like it one bit. They're stepping up their game against us. And that's why You have to make yourself familiar with these Noahide laws. You have to make a decision. This is your soul. You, do you believe that your soul goes on to eternity? And this is something you better search the depth of yourself for yourself and the people that you love, because this is serious. You know, this is your forever. Excuse me. Yeah. And once again, I'm going to move you back again. Oops. Sorry. There's no coming together with this shit. It doesn't work like that. It's separation time, and yes, it is a call for a time for a judgment. And I only judge for my own self and the people I care about. If you're in my bubble, even in my ear or my sight, then that's my prerogative. You don't like it, I don't care. Judge me. I don't care. I'll judge you. Judge me. Who gives a? Right? Do you really care? I mean, you might care what I think about you, whether I like you or love you or not. I think everybody wants to be liked and loved. So, in that respect, and a lot of people will say, don't like me, don't care. I don't believe you. You know? One way or another, it'll lead on your soul, whether you're the, like Babala chakra, eating your own tail or whatever. Um, that's on you. Whoever you are. There are two separate places for humans and ones that aren't quite human because of the decisions that they continuously make. You know, it's that greed thing, the goyim thing. Really, when you see a greedy, ugly person or somebody excessively snarky, don't they look like Gollum? Don't those dudes up on that wall uh, in Jerusalem, humping on the wall, don't they look like Gollum? To me, they do. Does that look normal to you? Yes, that's their culture, right? Yeah, I'm sure they'll do it right up by God's throne. Yeah, right in the house of God. Maybe that's why they got thrown out of there, perhaps. Just educated guess. And they want to lead me, really. Like, I would, like, can you imagine this? You're a little kid and you walk out in your kitchen and there's your dad up next to the wall. Boing, boing, boing. La, la. You know, can you imagine? You'd be like, Daddy, why are you doing that? You know, did mommy run away? I don't blame her. I would too. In fact, if I was a kid doing and seen that, because that's kind of similar to some of the horror that I did witness, actually spurred me on to start running away the first time I was 5, but it didn't work out so well. You know, yes, I ended up doing jail time as a child. I wouldn't even tell them my name for 2 weeks. I sat in this one jail. Wouldn't tell them who I was, and there was an APB out on me too. I was a kid. That's before I divorced my own parents that were Masons. Well, more than a little bit more than Masons, but they are what they are. Some just aren't of that lineage. So, and they're very lucky. Might give them a clearer ability to think of what they're actually doing. You know, might give them a head start. Oh, we have a pretty nice summer day here. Beautifully, like almost 90. So I do have my fan on, but it's nice. It's not quite too terrible. Like if it was near 100 and humid, I'd probably put the air conditioner on, but it's not that bad. A friend of ours that had been not quite injured many times came over, brought some, well, yeah, he brought some wood yesterday and then came over and helped Doug stack it. It's part of a deal they were making, but he had injuries and he was looking better. So I said hi to him out the window and I said, "You're looking better." And um, he said something about me being a sweet lady because uh, and then told me about his carpal tunnel surgery. And I said, I held up my arms. I'm like, well, I've been doing push ups. And oh, that's when he goes, "You're a sweet lady." You know, that's all he could think, you know. He actually has been shot in the head, too. He's had some real rough times. And his mom just died oh, a while back, about, not quite a year ago. In the fall, it will be a year. Um, Almost right before her birthday in September, actually. I used to work with her. She was my head nurse at I worked at a drug rehabilitation center as a trained medical assistant and counselor. So, yeah, she was a good nurse. You know? I like to say because of my martial arts, I can either take your life or save it because of my medical training. So, and it is true. What am I supposed to say? Something that's not true? No, I'm not going to speak another language in the scriptures that weren't even written in that language in an entirely different meaning. No, I'm not going to do that. And I'm going to name this video so you so-called rabbi out there can get your shit together, because I'm nobody's slaves, little boy. You get that. And you get it good. You don't play with me. Go ahead, send your dogs in my direction. I'll chain them up. I'm a little beyond a horse whisperer. So, anyway. Yeah, I wasn't real mad or nothing because it's something I've been training for all my life. You know, it's like it doesn't matter to me like that because, like, if you don't want me in your eternity, I most definitely don't want you there either. So, like I said, we really don't have an argument. It's the in between things that you're trying to teach my children, that it's acceptable to obey your children, and that motherfucker is not going to fly, and neither are you. Keep it up. Put your ass in a box, and there you'll stay, thinking to yourself forever. Just a word to the so called wise. Want to act like my enemy? I don't have a problem with that at all. At all. I don't play, and I always win, so bring it on. Right there. Got it? with God in my heart, and that's what I see continuously every day, all day long. I don't have to rock my pelvis on a brick to prove it. You're ridiculous. Oh, ridiculous. Oh, yeah, you sure are. And then say you want to lead everybody in the world because you're liars and thieves. And it's been proven all over the place. But God forbid anybody say anything against it, because then you're labeled as such and such, even if you're of the same heritage. And then they'll label you as racist or phobic this or phobic that, or go yourself, you phobia bastards. You are not screwing with my children and the next generation of anybody else's children on this planet ever again. If the good hearted people knew what had been happening to them for thousands of years, you wouldn't even been able to take my dog for a walk. In fact, I wouldn't let anybody take my dog for a walk anyway. Well, my grandkids did, but that's a rarity. I wonder if you had a dog. Could you train a dog like I did? Just put her out on a rope, not a chain. Just put her out on a rope with her collar loose in case the coyotes came in the yard and she didn't go anywhere. You ever had a horse that stayed in your yard without the gate up or anything like that? I doubt it. I wonder why that is. Actually, I don't. You should wonder why that is. And I never beat my animals either. I'd swear at them once in a while, but I never beat them up. In fact, my dog was a Cancerian, and if you any of you are out there, you'll get this exactly. She loved it when I'd call her something nasty when she was acting like a dork. She just loved it. Her favorite thing was not to come in when I told her to, and if it was dangerous and the coyotes were close, and like, get in here, you dumbass, or whatever, she'd be laughing. If you know, you know. If you know Cancerians, then you know. Smirky little thing. So, yeah, funnier than shit, actually. But she was in danger sometimes, and I'd yell, but she'd laugh about it. But she didn't realize the danger of it all. You know, she's out there yelling, and she had a great big voice of a basset hound, but was basset hound and Jack Russell. So she was that crazy Jack Russell Terrier shit in there too. So, but she thought she was like a mastiff, you know, a mastiff wolf is what she sounded like, kind of, this funny shit, 20-pound dog acting like she does. But in all reality, she was very athletic. When she ran, she was the fastest dog I ever seen. And if you've seen pictures of Jack Russells like coming at you, they can literally run with their feet off the ground. They just sail through the air. It's hard to describe. Like 1 foot touches if you even see it. It's so quick. It's beautiful. So anyway, yeah. Her name was Lady. Well, I'm going to let you go. I just wanted to make you aware. I have videos on the Noahide laws and what they deem acceptable, and I know some of you have heard me speak on it. It is not a joke. Our presidents have signed these things into laws. Why would rabbis be standing around our president in our Oval Office signing religious laws into our Bill of Rights? That, and it's not only happening in my country. Everybody needs to be aware of the dark cabal, cartel, banking system, banksters, big corporation, so-called world leader freaks that are trying to take us all down to hell. You know? Make this world more hell-like. No, it's time that this hell subsides. It's time we start standing up for the next generation, or there's not someday going to be a next generation. And you can scoff at that all you want, but every generation is getting weaker and weaker and less drive, less ambition, less hope, you know, definitely less faith. We can't afford to have less of what God put us here to be. You know, we just can't. Please, you know. I'm not going to tell you who to follow or even why. If you're following somebody like I do, I'm seeing what my enemies are doing, and I know who they are. I know the ones that are walking the fence for this here. You don't impress me. You're in trouble. So, anyway. Well, thank you all for joining me. I appreciate you. And to my new subscribers, I am sorry. I meant to address you first off. Thank you so much for joining me. I love people. That's why I'm out here. So, and I always have. It's not nothing new. So, and I don't love a lot of people either. But in general, I love people. If you love other people too, I love you. So, peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA. Have a good night or day wherever you're at. If you're communist, get up in my face. Just come on to my house. Come on to my house, my house. I'm going to make you happy. See you later.